Yo ho ho, the sound works. Yeah. I got it to work. Episode 167. Here we go. Let's do it. Let me know if you can hear this. Come on in, folks. Happy Monday. All right. Welcome. That's how we do it. Excellent. What's up, folks? All right. Yay. we got a crew in here. Thank you very much, Ruby. Bada boom. That's how we start the show. Thank you. Donations rule. Thank you. Wow. All right. We got a good group in here already. That was quick. Fallon in the house. Ryan in the house with a question, which I'll get to maybe. Michael Pike. Atomic Pirate Girl. Come on in. If you're new, say hi. What's up? I'm Cardone. This is Evening Hour, episode 167. It's been a little while. I was supposed to be on a week ago, and I couldn't get the sound to work, and I came this close to sledgehammering everything. No, I'm not kidding. I got a meaty show, so if you're just getting in, get settled, get a soda. Tonight I'm drinking Turkey Hill. Where am I from? Turkey Hill iced tea, the cheapo one. Mixed with Canada Dry tonic water. Yes, Bruja, Florida, party on. Goblinko. Goblinko, I'm going to give you guys a shout out today. You're in my notes. We got Sean Auberg in the house from the game company Goblinko. He has a, right now there's a Kickstarter for Dungeon Degenerates. Right now for the expansions. There's a link below in my, I always put a link to you guys in my description. I'm not hired by them. I like them. I do it out of, I want their success. That's one of the greatest game companies in the world. Party on. Come on in. Bruja, Larry King guy. Hey now. All right, I'm glad I'm in here. It's been a while. I have a lot to say. It's been a busy summer. I am going to be, I think I said somewhere, this is a verbose episode. I have a drink. I have a, you bet, Goblinko. That's Sean Auberg. I have a Fatty Bo Batty baseball bat, beat on the brat with a baseball bat. I have a lighter. I have my notes. And I believe we have some nice music on. Let me know how the sound is. I had sound issues last time, and I couldn't do the show. All right, let's get cozy here. Come on in, get cozy. This is a Monday party. I want you guys, if you're new, yes, you too, brother. If you are new to this thing here, this live show that we do, it's live. So please chat, say hi. If I don't know you, a little low. Interesting. Okay, we can do that. I can bring it up a bit. You let me know if this is too much now. Okay? Tony D. Mama's in the house. What's up, Mama? Yeah. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So, I have a lot to say tonight. We're going to talk about movies. I have some philosophy. Well, I did a video. If you look up on my channel, I believe there's an entire video. One of my videos is on how to do this. These are good. I think I have one of the best rolling techniques of everybody I know except for one person. Sounds louder? Oh, good. Yeah, I don't want to blow my voice. I actually did a warm-up because I knew I was going to be talking a mile a minute. Yeah, where do I begin? Oh yeah, so we're gonna have a little philosophy, a little film. What else? I have a lot of things to say today. So, first thing we're gonna do. All right, now we got 20 in here. Well, I'm gonna tell you about this show. It's live. Please participate. Say hi. Say hello. If I know you, say hey. I know you from. I met you at a game convention or at a show 20 years ago. Whatever. And if I don't know you, introduce yourself. So, yeah, it's a live show. If you're watching the recorded version, watch the chat. The chats are good on this one. Questions, we take them. We got a good group in here. Nobody here gets offended by anything. We talk. We're chatters. We question everything. But I will say right now, the primary jam of this show is to have fun on a Monday and to just chew on some thoughts and go think some more. That's what this show is. And I mean it. I really do. I've had a weird summer. It's busier than most summers. My summers are notorious for not being busy. Some magicians are busy. They do a lot of school camps. I don't. I do get work, but it's varied. So I've been doing tattoo conventions, outdoor events, corporate events, mostly outdoory, picnicky kind of things. But it's getting there. Now it's picking up. The 23rd, 24th, and 25th of this month, which is next week, or next week, I am performing in Brooklyn for 3 days at the Custom Culture. It's the Custom Culture Festival. It's motorcycles, tattoos, cars, rock and roll culture, piercings. I'm at one of those, and it looks like the company I'm with we're doing one in the Caribbean. So, John and his tattoo parlor, they're running a tight shift, and it's been pretty good. So, check it out. I'm going to be coming around. And then fall season starts. That's where I start getting busy. With the regular. It's also Jewish season. There's a lot of Jewish events I do in the fall, believe it or not. There is Sukkot, which is their version of Thanksgiving, where they eat outside for every day for almost a whole week. And I get work on at least 5 of those days. So I get busy with that. That's all coming. Right now, I'm technically in slow season. So this week, I'm not so busy. I'm performing at some weddings and whatnot. I have 2 weddings this week. Next week, I'm fine. I'm off. It's like I'm off. It's summer. I get to party a bit. So, anyhoozle. What else? Ramones, my Ramones tribute band. We've been playing this summer on the boardwalk, and it's been a blast. It really has. We're working on our petition to name the Ramones the amphitheater after the Ramones. I should have a cough button. I don't. So you have to hear the cough. What else? Hold on. Yes. Stink bombs. Oh yeah, did you know you can get stink bombs on Amazon? I don't know for how long, but they're available. I have a box right here. Stink bombs are an amazing and powerful gadget you can keep in your bag. Not everybody gets this, okay? I'm going to be honest. When I say what I'm about to say, a lot of people think I'm crazy. But if you're my type, you'll get this. If you ever need to shut down something, stink bombs. Excellent. There's trouble, whatever. If you want to cause trouble, stink bombs. They're technically harmless, but they stink really bad. And they're little glass bottles. They're over here. Hold on. I'm staring at a case of them. Here's what a case looks like. Okay? And they come... When I was a kid, we used to get these, and I always loved them at shows and stuff. But yeah, they're little glass vials. Can you imagine if I dropped one right now? They look like that. They look bad. They look like trouble. Anyway, you break one of these and it stinks like hell. You break 3 of them. Now, you can lay them on the floor and wait for someone to step on them. They're glass, so you have to be careful. Liquid ass. Wow, I like it. Well, the liquid fart spray is fine, but this doesn't smell like a fart. This smells like... It smells like rotten eggs on steroids. I just wanted to point out, you can get them on Amazon. When I saw that, I was like, wow, I'll take a case. Reading-wise, I'm still into... I have 2 books I'm reading right now I wanted to throw out quick. This is hard to find. This, I highly recommend this. This is really great. Oh, here we go. High school. Ruby's telling a story. Yes, of course. Yes, they canceled class. They're powerful. You've never seen those? You've seen the ones in bags? Oh, yeah, those are way inferior. This is way more superior. Try it. This book on Nietzsche by Lou Salome, with Nietzsche and Paul Ree pulling Lou Salome in a cart while she whips them on the cover. This is glorious. This is the woman that Nietzsche loved. This is her book about him. She lived to be very old. Like, she lived past his... You know, he died in 1900. I think she died in 1930. So this is her take on the philosophy and an analysis of him. Really cool. Oh, El Dorado High School, Albuquerque, 2000. That sounds like such a... like, party high school. I'm sure it was. And now I'm in this. Genealogy of Morals, and then Ecce Homo I'll read right after. Friedrich Nietzsche. Woo-hoo. Genealogy of Morals, I already read Essay 1, and now I'm in the middle of Essay 2, and then there's just one more and it's done. It's not that long. It's good. It's very different. It's a drier writing style than all of his other works. I mean, I've read everything except these 2, his book of essays, which is like his 3rd thing, I think, and then Will to Power, I have some of it read, but not the whole thing, which he never released. But I've read almost everything, and this is very different. I would say Genealogy of Morals is more of a scholarly approach to explaining his ideas of the origins of our morals. I'm not going to get too into it. Maybe later in the show it'll tie into my philosophy segment. But honestly, he blows my mind continually. I highly recommend it. Anybody that's interested in the occult or real occult knowledge, I highly recommend Friedrich Nietzsche. He bridges the gap between atheism and a religious poetry in the way he writes. Kind of like Jung, in my opinion. There's a religiosity to his flavor, I'll say. Not his rigidness to anything, but there's a religiosity to the colorfulness of his poetry, of his words, to teach his philosophy. That's what I'll say. Oh yeah, this summer, I just wanted to talk about the summer. Who's having summer fun? What are you guys doing this summer? What's going on? What's the vibe? I mean, politically it's nuts. Globally it's nuts. The weather's been good. We've had a hot, sweaty summer. We've had waves. There's been surfing waves. I'm lazy. I only go when the waves are good. And there's been some good days where I get to go out and it's not too crowded. So summer's been great. And I called tonight's episode, which is, you know, I usually formally start, but whatever. Horror film summer party time. I didn't know what to call tonight. Hi, thanks for the donation. I didn't know what to call it tonight. I called it that because that's what it feels like. I've been in a exciting game meaning board games and horror films trip this summer. I've been fishing a lot more. I used to go bass fishing all the time, especially when my kids were little. And then I got so busy with life and working and surfing and summer that I didn't do a lot of bass fishing. But now I've been going back up to my haunts and doing catfishing and bass fishing. And just a week or so ago, I think it was Monday, not last Monday, but maybe the Monday before, I went catfishing, and the catfish I caught, a snapping turtle tried to eat it. I see it, my fish I put it in a net and put it in the water until it's time to go, and then I kill it and gut it and throw it in the cooler. And so I see my fish getting pulled, and there's a giant snapping turtle. And, I shoot him away, took the fish out, put it back in. This guy came back 3 times. Finally, on the 4th time, I gave him the fish. he bit a hole in one of my fish, and I just said, "Here, take them." That's it, you win. But these snapping turtles they're big. What are you guys doing? What's the vibe? South Dakota. Hunting fish, my friend. That's my 2 favorite things to do, besides surfing. That's it. That's camping, hunting, fishing, surfing. Those things. If somebody asks, and skateboarding for sport, but for like outdoor activity, that's it. It's my favorite thing. I love it. If you use minnows, you can cast and reel for a second. Yes, but if I showed you where I was going, you would be like, wow. Our way of fishing, we have big lakes and streams and rivers, but my favorite is pond fishing in the woods. So I go to the woods where I hunt, and we find these weird ponds in the middle of the woods that have beavers, and I mean, it's great. We got checked out by a DEC agent. Yes, we had one pop out of nowhere, and a very she was kind of like a pretty ranger, but she had the full black kind of assault outfit on with the vest and the whole 9 yards. And she just came. First we heard stomp, whoom, and she was just there. And we were like, wow, how'd you get here? And she's like, how'd you guys get here? It was just me and my son. And she was impressed that we got to where we got to go fishing. We went around and through a bunch of thorns, basically. Anyway, she checked us out. I'm glad that she's, keeping an eye on it. There are unethical fishing and hunting people, for sure. And I follow the rules. Why would I not? I want to be able to continually fish and hunt. But, yeah, so this summer, it's been bass fishing, cat fishing. I've been playing a lot of games. Whenever I have free time, I'm either playing games, painting miniatures, or reading, and my games this season, and Sean, if you're in here, one of them is Necro Molds, and I did do an episode. Did I do a boardgasm on it yet? I don't think so. I will. It's one of my new favorite games. It's a skirmish battle game that uses little clay people made of Play-Doh, and they have different rules on how they move, and it's basically a Mordheim light. There's no campaign. It's just one-off games, and you get to squash them and put little swords in them. But the game itself is good. I've been having a blast. But the game that I've been playing like a freak for 7 years, Sean, has it been 7 years already? This right here is the first edition. Sean, in the rule book, in the first edition, I don't think my name is in the rule book, and I was one of the original Kickstarters. I've looked for it a few times and couldn't find it. And I'm like, I think I should be in here. I was sad. I was like, oh. But listen, when I did my satanic playing cards, a couple people got lost in the shuffle. It was too many. I mean, it's hard, I know. I'm not blaming you. But look, here it is. Yo, here, the guy that created the game's in the chat right now. This is, oh yes, I have the Thing game. I own it, and I've played it many times. I have a lot to say about that game. I do like it a lot. It was hard to find for a minute. This is the greatest board game you're ever going to play. And I'm not saying that because I know the guy. Look, Sean. Here's the, here's the box. They made a box just to fit all the other components. It's pretty cool. So, that's the greatest board game. You can play it alone. Sean, I ran some turns the other day, and it was some of the new stuff. Yeah, dude, my two guys, Hans and Franz, it's basically Dungeons and Dragons without a dungeon master. But I don't want to diminish it to just Dungeons and Dragons because um, that's a disservice to the flavor of the game. The flavor of the game is it's Dungeons and Dragons, but you're playing the real degenerates, the crooks that are in jail, getting out of jail. And so the themes are a little edged out, which is it's excellent. There's I mean, I'm playing a drug dealer and a bodyguard. And the drug dealer is now going to a land. His mission right now is they went to a place where they can mine crystals to make scratch, which was one of the nefarious substances in the game. But in the game, you can try to stop the Puritans. You can join a gang. You can join a cult and destroy the world by summoning a demon. I mean, it's kind of all over the place on the themes, but it's very open world sandbox, which doesn't exist in board games. Maybe I am in the printed rulebook. I always look, but it's very micro printed, the names, because we all, there's a million people in there. I have to go look again. Oh, thank you, Ruby. Yeah, they came out pretty sick. They did. So anyway, the game is blowing my mind. They have a Kickstarter up right now. It's for expansions for that game. So if you get involved in the game and you're starting small, it goes. You have years of play ahead of you. I've been playing the game for 7 years. I played one campaign for almost 4 years. I leave it set up. I had it set up right where I'm at now, and I just moved it to the other room to do this show. But yeah, it's Oh, the brick in the wall. That's why I'm not in there. I did not do that. That's it. I never do those things. I'm not that sentimental. I'm sentimental, but not that sentimental. I'm like, as long as I get the game. Oh, and I bought a copy of the second printing. Just because. I wanted to have a backup copy in case my cards ever got messed up or anything, even though I sleeved them. And I wanted a backup copy just because it's the greatest game in the world. I was like, well, if I could pick one game to go take to the desert island, I'd pick that, clearly. Okay, Ryan, somebody just asked if I have any more satanic playing cards. I think I personally might have 5 or 6 decks left that I'm willing to sell. I am going to put them on my website soon. Wacky Mart. Look it up. I have some weird stuff up there. I have some posters up there. I'm telling you, when they're gone, they're gone. And there's some really cool posters. For people that like old school style show posters, check it out. So anyway, that's my game hole. Also, here, I'm going to move the camera. Here, let's do my hi. This is my living room. See, hi. You see this, Captain Crunch? Look, right here. I'm going to move it over here. Why is it over here? Right here. Cinnamon. Captain Crunch. Why does it look blurry? Anyway, I have been picky of Captain Crunch in the last few years. It's advertised on Wacky Mart, but it is, it says sold out. I have to upload quantity. Thank you very much, Michael Pike. This here, regular Captain Crunch got too sweet. Something about it. A lot of these junk cereals, which I like, they got too sweet. Too much sugar. Something changed. They don't taste like how they did when I was a kid. I know they don't. I could tell they were getting sweeter and sweeter. Anyway, the cinnamon one for some reason works well. I liked their red, white, and blue crunch a lot. They do a 4th of July one once in a while. The Halloween one I could care less for. It's funny, I chose to celebrate Halloween as a lifestyle, not a holiday. I just said Halloween's year-round. And I got sick of Halloween. Corn syrup, Fallon says. Yes, that's it. They switched it. It went from sugar to corn syrup. True. No, I got kind of tired of Halloween themed. It got to be too much with Halloween now. Like, everybody has these giant plastic decorations. Everybody has these things. It got to be so uniform and regimental, Halloween. In the old days, there wasn't that much stuff. But people still celebrated, so you had to make a lot of this stuff. Now it's very, My favorite Halloween swag is Goblinko, the guy in here now. On his website, he makes old school cutout, where you get scissors and cut out the cardboard. Halloween decorations that are way better than... All right, Cocoa Puffs are good. Count Chocolate... Yeah, okay. I do like Frosted Flakes. I like all those. I'm not a chocolate person, but I still like them. I'll eat them. Catalina Crunch. Oh, it's one of the... I've seen these. They make fancy, better versions of the junk. I know they do. I, in my old age, have cut back on some of the junk foods I eat. Oh, you feel the same. Good. I really have. I do eat it. I just don't eat it as much. Same with soda. Try to, limit it, All right. Should we get into music? Really cool. Oh, I'm going to do an entire episode on Corey Feldman. I was going to talk about him tonight. I am a fan of sorts, I will say. I really do appreciate some of his flavor and flair, and I have a lot to say about the psychology behind him and his recent viralness. So, we're old, yeah. It's true, we're getting there. We're getting really old. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, when that first came out, I was quite shocked at how good it was. I was. I still like it. I even like the cereal Corn Pops. And I like honeycombs. I like all that stuff. So, I have a band here that I'm going to show the video later. Oh, why didn't I go to Gen Con this year? I've been going to Gen Con for many years. Speak into the mic. Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting that this mic is more directional than I wanted it to be. Thank you, Mom. There's my mom. Giving me notes. I love it. So, you know why I didn't go to Gen Con this year? I'll tell you why. For the last, I don't know how many years, I usually go to Gen Con. In the old days, I went to Games Day, the Warhammer one. Lots. I love game conventions. But I gotta say something. I don't like this. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Someone just messaged me. Hold on. It's a live show. So, you see that? I don't like that. I'm claustrophobic, and I don't like to wait in line. It's a game convention. It's the biggest one in the world. For the last 2 years, I drove to Gen Con 15, 16 hours to get there, and then had to wait 3 hours to get in because of that kind of stuff. So, it's too much. Yeah, the horde ruins it. It's too many. It got to be too big. And honestly, there's only a few game companies I go there to see. Dungeon Crawl Classics, Kingdom Death, Flying Frog, Necromolds guy now. I wanted to see Steve Jackson. Dungeon Degenerates guy, Goblinko. If you had a booth there, you would do well. Oh, yes, there's nothing like your game there. But I'll bet, and you'll know more about this than me, I'll bet I can't even imagine how much you would have to sell to pay for the booth and your hotel and food while you're there. I mean, it's expensive there. So, I don't know how it works. I mean, I'm sure, Necromolds guy was there this year, and I saw he had a stack of games, and honestly, I would love to work in a booth for you there. I think I could sell a lot of them. I mean, really, it would be an easy game to sell. For me, it would be. I'd be like, folks, there's only one game. Um, Last year, one of the hits of the show, and it was a very smart idea, Joseph Goodman of Goodman Games was selling their rule book for $20. That giant Dungeon Crawl Classics rule book was $20. And they were selling them like hot cakes. And it's worth it. It's a great steal, you know? Javits has always been a rip-off nightmare for vendors. I will bet it's the same. It's got to be expensive. I mean, really. I mean, it's a TV commercial for your business. So, for a small company, there's that weird, like, do I invest to expand? Or am I going to expand and then be like, oh my God, to keep it running at this level now, like, it's hard. And, like, you're burning more money and more energy. So, I don't know. The mom and pop bit of the game business, I still appreciate. So, wow. All right, what else here? Oh, and for rock and roll, and I'm going to show their video at the end, I found this band. It's the guy from Niflheim. It's a Swedish band, Niflheim. He just put out this, it's still in this, here. I'll take it out of the damn sleeve. Boom! Hell Butcher. Metal Blade Records, brand new. This is like a month old. I'll show the video at the end. Let me tell you what. It's a very specific type of heavy metal. I've played it for some people that didn't like it. I've played it for some people that freaked out like I did. When I first heard it, I was like, all right, that's interesting. Then I heard it again. And I liked it. And then I heard the rest of the songs. And I quickly said, it sounds weird. It sounds off. And then I listened to it in detail, and my mind was melted. I was like, okay, I get it now. They're playing a kind of heavy metal that's a very specific time period. It's like a mixture of, it's Venom, speed metal, black metal. It's like first wave black metal, but a little speedier. It's a very specific thing. Anyway, I'm a fan. Check it out. Yeah, I do too. I don't know. Maybe Sean Auberg has a little... I'll bet he has some insight. I mean... And I'm sure you thought about it. I mean, really, like, when I walk through the convention wearing a Dungeon Degenerates shirt, you know, my favorite thing is people would be like, yo, that game rules. And I would, of course, give them... Sean would give me swag to hand out. So that's like, here, you get a button and a sticker. Wow. People... I almost think, like, that maybe... That kind of advertisement's still one of the better ones because it allows people a way to... It's like almost like... It's like when you discover something on your own, it has much more meaning. You know, I talk about that on the show a lot more. And when things are handed to you without your discovery, your attitude towards it's very different. So for me, the game business has always been a kind of an underground discovery world. Like punk, metal, in our youths, in the 70s, 80s, you know. Sean in here, he identifies with that movement, that early DIY punk movement. That's what shaped my life as the arts I appreciate. I want to talk about films tonight, specifically horror films. We love them. If people in here have recommendations of new horror, please tell me. This is all subjective because it's film review, but I do believe there are some objective rules to entertainment. There are a few. And I only say that because I'm in the entertainment business and I actually study the science of how to make something work on an entertainment value and art, on an art level and an entertainment level. Because to me, they are different. They can be the same, but there's definitely a difference. Okay, Shanks, Bruja, Florida. I believe I did a whole show on it, or at least a chunk of it. It's my new favorite old movie no one knows about. I wish I was rich enough to buy the rights to it, because I would re-release it with a new name. I think it's not popular because of the name. How's my sound? All right. Bones and all. Oh, you did see Shanks. Excellent. All right, I got to write this down. I got to see a lot of the new ones at the movies this summer. My mama, who's in the house, she is a horror fan. I would say, Mom, Fran, your family is responsible for my love of horror. Her dad, Pappy Lardieri, used to tell me stories about Dracula and Frankenstein, and we would watch the old movies on television and at night on Shock Theater. But my mom, I remember you, Mama, reading books, lots. I remember you reading Amityville Horror when I was little and telling me about it. And then Communion, the Alien book. So she's a horror film fan. And so when I want to go see a horror film, I mean, my kids were raised on it, right? So we all go as a family to see these things. So we got to see some. We saw The New Omen, and I enjoyed it. I think it was good. I do want to see it again. A good sign is if I want to see it again. It means I might have missed something because there's a lot of meat or detail. Well, it is a superior genre, and I think objectively we can say that because it's notoriously a lower budget genre, which means there's more room for creative flair in what you're doing with that low budget. I do think there's something to it being a superior genre. I also think we respond to horror films in a manner that is very connected. And that's because fear is our first thing that passes our lizard brain. You know, it's the gateway to everything else. Oh yes. Oh, we're talking about that, Bruja. We are going to talk about Terrifier because Terrifier and Damien Leone is why I feel uplifted with modern horror because of him specifically. New Evil Dead cartoon, I hear. They're going to get Ash, Bruce Campbell, back in a cartoon. Great idea. I think that's a kind of a mind-bending idea. I will say I believe I was correct when I said that the new Evil Dead movie was trash, and people were kind of hypnotized to think it was good because it had cool credits. I really believe that. I did a whole episode on it. I think it's trash. I can prove it in one line. If you watch the new Evil Dead that came out, last year, and you replace the Book of the Dead with a Ouija board, you have the same movie. There's nothing different. Nothing. They tried to make everybody cool and hip. It was dumb. People will forget that movie, and they have. It's been a year. I've heard near no one talking about it. So, a cartoon Evil Dead, that might be the way to handle it. This is great. Michael Pike Jr. Bruce Campbell gave me $20 for saying how cool he was. That's funny, actually. That makes sense. That's in character. I like that. I mean, I love him. I think he's funny. I mean, I will put Evil Dead 2 in my top 10. It's a mini masterpiece of low budget. Again, you know. So Evil Dead, trash. I did see... hold on here. Oh, yeah, so The New Omen. Pretty creepy. Very different. Great ending, I thought. Exciting ending. Not what I thought. Different. Not spoiling anything. Great prequel. It's a prequel. Yeah. I will see it again if it's online or something eventually. In a Violent Nature. Okay, so I did like Army of Darkness. I did. I saw it opening weekend at the movies when it came out. It was empty, the movie theater. No one knew what it was. They had a terrible campaign. No, that movie didn't do well. I did like it. I loved it. I like the S-Mart ending better than the original ending. In a Violent Nature is a new horror film, and no spoilers here, but the movie is literally a Jason copy. If they could have gotten a Jason, they would have just made it Jason. But it's a special needs kid dies and gets buried and is returning from the dead to kill people. The movie, the reason why it got noticed is it does something that I've never seen before, but it's from his point of view. And so I'll give you one little thing that happened in the film that really made me wow. I will say a lot of people didn't like it because when the killer is walking through the woods, it's like watching someone play a video game. You kind of have to watch him walk through the woods and just listen to the sounds. It's maddening. And they did it for art purposes, and I get it, and that's cool. But for rewatchability, it was the reason why I'm like, I'm loving this movie, but I doubt I'll watch it again. So I tell you right now, you should see it. Another scene, the killer's about to pounce on some people, and we're watching him watch them, and you hear their dialogue. You can hear them clearly. It's not muffled like in a Peanuts cartoon. Remember in the Peanuts, the Charlie Brown would be like, Mrs. Anderson, and the adults would be like, wah, 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 wah. Like you couldn't hear them, what they were saying, but you knew they were talking. In A Violent Nature, you hear them talking, but it's nonsense. If you listen to it, it's kind of vapid nonsense, which is what it would sound like to a zombie killer, you know? And so, I am going to see it. I don't think I'm going to see it Friday because I believe I'm working Friday, but I do want to see it. I mean, it's Jason. I mean, it's like it starts off, the movie literally starts with them stealing an artifact from a cabin in the woods, and he digs up from out of the ground and starts chasing after them. It's very Jason. It's like, and that's it. You know, he's just, you see, I think it's a brilliant little movie. It has a bizarro ending. I don't want to spoil it. Kind of brilliant, kind of weird. Again, I don't need to see it again, but I'm glad it exists. Violent, yes. Bloody, yeah. So bloody that I think it was almost not cool. Like, sometimes when things get too violent, it's to me like, okay, now they're just trying to be over the top. I don't mind it when Damien Leone does it in Terrifier. It makes sense in that context. But in this movie, I don't know. I liked it. I did see Longlegs at the movie theaters with my mama. I had the same feeling with this as I did with The Omen. Well, no. I think I like The Omen better. But I do want to see it again, Longlegs. But if you asked me, it was so funny when the movie was over. My mom didn't like it. And she'll say, if she's in here still, she'll say it. Her immediate reaction was, Fair. And we talked about why. My reaction was like, well, I didn't like the original Crow, so I have no desire to see the new one. I saw the original Crow at the movies and hated it. I did. I don't know. It's just, I felt bad that he died. The new one, I don't know. The trailer didn't do it. Too predictable. Too on the money. Too on the nose. Which I'm going to bring that up in a second. On the nose. So anyway, Longlegs. I didn't know it had a robust ad campaign to get it rolling with a mysterious element. Didn't know that. I just heard it was cool and went and saw it. As soon as the film's over, my reaction was, like, if you said, do you like it? Did you hate it? No, I didn't hate it. Did I love it? No. Did I like it? Maybe. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. It's weird. The way the movie unfolds is quite strange. It made me, I do want to see it again. I definitely want to see it again. And so, there was definitely more than one Crow. Yeah. I just thought the original one was not dramatic because once I knew he was a ghost, it was like, all right, we just watch him do his revenge thing. It was boring. I don't know. Longlegs. Creepy? Yeah. I think Longlegs suffers a tiny bit from a few parts being on the nose. I wanted it to be almost more ambiguous and you had to kind of put more pieces to the puzzle together. I don't know. Some of the stuff's just too on the nose. And I'm like, It's like that movie, what is it, Get Out? Jordan Peele's first movie. First famous movie. I don't know what else he did. That movie was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Shouldn't have been nominated for any. Hereditary should have been nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Godzilla, which won an Academy Award, should have been nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Not Jordan Peele's movie. Now, here's the thing about that movie. When I saw that movie, right away, I liked it. I was like, oh, this is great. And when I realized that the plot was about some weird white guy sect with some slavery thing going on hidden in the South, I was hooked. I was like, whoa, what a wacko horror film concept of... It seemed like, this is what it seemed like, he was going to make a horror movie about a sect in the South, a little group, a little town, that somehow the slavery of the Civil War was going to continue somehow. And they had some deal with local law enforcement and the government, and that was going to be the surprises. And like, but that's not what it was. What it was, not to spoil it for anybody, there's a scene where somebody goes, Zalthon's mad. My robot. Why is Zalthon mad? What happened, Zalthon? He goes, aha, we're cutting their brains and putting our brains in their bodies. And it was like a mad scientist plot that was so far-fetched that it ripped me out of the plot. I was like, really? That's the idea? This is ridiculous. It should have turned into a comedy at that point. I might have liked that. Like, you know, like the whole movie takes a new direction. Like a musical comedy. I was like, what? It went from being creepy to like laughable. And that movie was nominated for 4. I love it. That's a one way to do it. Bravo. I love the Millen Villain original Crow. I don't even remember. Yes. Hereditary not only had detail, it had craftsmanship and how it presented the story. The way it unfolded, it made you think it was one thing, then another, then it went back, and then there was the way the surprise... And also, there's a word tonight that I'm going to use. Hold on, let me read this. Speaking of... when will Realm of Satan be available on streaming? I do not know, Adam Dragoon. Nice first name. But there's somebody in here that might know. Fallon? I don't know. There's a screening soon on the 3rd of September at Rooftop Films in Manhattan. And there's a screening, I believe, next week in Sweden. It's been playing all over Earth. It's crazy. One second. What were we talking about? Long legs. What was I saying? I was talking about something. I was on a long legs. What other movie? Something about long. Oh. Here's the word. I have this in my philosophy section, but I'm going to bring it up now because I have a certain thing I like in films, and I have a certain thing I don't like. And I did an entire episode on why I don't like Quentin Tarantino films. And the word I am going to use describes what I have a problem with. And I never knew this word until recently. And I'm going to start using it because it applies to a lot of things. And it has a very nuanced meaning. So check this out. Oh yeah, thank you, Fallon. It is still doing the rounds, so it might be a while, right, Fallon? It might be a while. Here's the word, drum roll. Verisimilitude. Verisimilitude. I like things that have verisimilitude. And I'll give you a little story, which I didn't know about. And it's funny because on YouTube, here, which you're watching me on, there is a video of the director of Superman. What's his name? I have an objective reason why I don't like Tarantino films. A very specific reason, which is why I did a video on it. It's not just personal taste. It's something I noticed that's non-active in art. What's the director of Superman? What the hell's... It's not John Landis. That's... Anywho. Superman with Christopher Reeves, which is a really great movie. The director made the first one and the second one. They fired him after... So the first one came out, and then they were finishing the second one. I mean, he was doing them both at the same time. And... Donner. Richard Donner. Thank you very much. Love him. So he had an idea of what was going to make Superman work. And he made sure that everybody on set knew this. And so much so that he made the word verisimilitude, he printed it out and put it so that people didn't forget. And this is something I like in films that... And what I do in the world of magic and in the world of... You'll see it in pro wrestling. You'll see it in film. Okay. And what it is Otisburg. Oh, yes. And so what it is it's an attitude towards the realism of it all. Meaning when Superman comes in the room wearing his cape, on set and in the movie, it's real. Pretend like he's an alien from outer space that came here and he has godlike powers. Act like he's real. It's not a joke. There's no hamming it up. There's no need to. Take it seriously. That's why I like movies like Flash Gordon. They're not hamming it up. You might remember them doing that, but if you watch it, they are not hamming it up. They're playing it dead serious. And that's why that movie's good. There's a verisimilitude to it. It means a truthfulness, a reality. And so, a lot of times in movies, the plot will take it out of the verisimilitude. It'll be so far-fetched and silly that it ruins it. A lot of the Shyamalama Ding Dong movies are like that. To me, that's what's Jordan Peele. Stuff like that, it's too far-fetched. But like Hereditary, the scene where she goes to the medium and contacts the ghost, okay? There is so much verisimilitude in that, it gives me goosebumps. The way they respond to the ghost and really, it's so real. And so, it's a word now I have a word. Now I never had a word for it. But now when I see things, like, this is why I don't like magic shows where the magician's playing a character. Because you're like, why are you're presenting a trick in real time as a reality, but you're playing a fake character. It's, to me, a conflict of interest. It's not a style thing. It's a conflict of the art. It's like playing music with earplugs in. There's a conflict, you know? So anyway, I think, how about this film that people don't remember? Bone Tomahawk. No one talks about this movie. How many years has it been out? 10, 15 years? 12 years? It's what's his name from The Thing. It's Kurt Russell and Patrick Wilson in a horror western. And I mean horror. Now, let me ask you. The subject is a little bit, some people thought the film has a subject matter that's a little edgy, and that's why it's not promoted very well. Like, they kind of downplay it now. They don't want people to know about it. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe that's it. Because it does have a wacko story, and I don't want to spoil it. Mama, Fran, you haven't seen it. Watch it. It's good. It's scary. How about this for the horror fan? The violence is oh, I don't know if they were implants. Don't ruin the story. They might have been an evolution thing. That could have been something. I don't know if that's why I want to see it again. There's things in there that I'm like, I don't. That might not be what it is. I'm telling you, it's got some gore in it. You've seen it, Mike. There's gore that's just as bad, like as shocking as Terrifiers movies. Yeah, oh yeah, don't say that. Yeah, that's one of the details I wouldn't throw out there. But honestly, it's good. It's a scary movie. It's brutal. It's a Western. But it's horror. It's truly horror. Bone Tomahawk. I don't know. Can someone look that up? How many years has it been? It's been a while. It's like 10 years old. X, I have a problem with. I didn't like it. Didn't like X. The fact that the girl played a few parts, and it didn't mean anything. There should have been a tie-in to that. But I don't know. I didn't see the sequels. I don't know what it is. That movie for me was like, if you never see horror films, I can see someone thinking that's kind of creepy, but I don't know, the bad guy. I'll give you a little. It's not a spoiler, but when she's in the basement of the family, the old lady and the old guy, yo, Gangster Jim and Sis, what's up, brother? Fun party. Nice to see you on the weekend. I think she should have found 8mm, 16mm film of the old lady from the 20s. And it's the old lady in the film doing the same thing the film crew's there to film, if you know what I'm saying. And that would have made more sense. That would have tied it in a little bit, like this weird coincidence, because they were both in the same line of work. It just, you know what I mean? Like, it would have made the whole thing kind of have a point and a pathos to her character, the older people. But it wasn't there. I don't know. Just me. But a lot of people like the X movie. The other one, now here's the new ones. Well, okay. I saw Psycho 4 the other day. Anybody ever see it? It's my least favorite, but I didn't hate it. I do want to see it again. So there you go. It has Henry Thomas from E.T. playing young Norman Bates. And it has a woman, and oh God, this is going to kill me. Wow, it came out in 2015. Interesting. So here's something. Can someone look this up? The actress in Psycho 4 is the lady that plays Juliet in Romeo and Juliet Zeffirelli film. She's great. Really good. She's in Psycho 4. And, of course, Perkins. I liked it. I thought it was kind of a neat story. I didn't hate it. I think the best of all 4 Psycho films is number 2. Then 1. Then 3. Then 4. I don't hate 3 either. I think 3 is a good slasher film. It's scary. And I think 2 is gold. Olivia Hussey. And she's English. She's fantastic. Yeah, there's something about her. She's great. She has this very, powerful look. I don't know. I like her. Now, here's the movies I'm looking forward to. And the big ones that are coming soon. Very soon. First of all, that Gladiator trailer. I mean, it looks weird. It looks too CG. I don't know what the story... Maybe the story's wonderful. I don't know. But it looks... The fact that they had, a hip-hop trailer... It just looks stylistically like all the crap we're being sold constantly. Okay? That's all. It doesn't mean it might be good. Nosferatu. Coming out, I believe, Christmas Day by Eggers. That looks great. I'm quite excited. I do like The Witch. I loved Lighthouse. Anybody else fans of those? I mean, fine little films. Again, low budget. I like The Witch better. I don't. Yeah, Eggers. It looks spooky. It looks gothic-y. It looks. I'm sure it's gonna be good. I just hope it's laid out well. But I thought The Witch was fine art. Fine art. There are a few movies in the last 20 years that give me a feeling that when the film's over, I carry with me throughout the day. The Witch was one of them. The new Suspiria was another one I really like a lot. Tremors. I like that movie. That is a fine movie. You know what's weird? Is the new Hellraiser isn't on Blu-ray. It's just a Hulu download, which I'm kind of mad because I want a Blu-ray. I liked it a lot. It's my favorite Hellraiser movie. I think it's the best one. And the film that I could talk about for 10 hours, and then we're going to get into some philosophy, is Terrifier 3. I love All Hallows Eve, I love Terrifier, and I love Terrifier 2 a lot. I think they're simple, mysterious, surprising, trashy, smart. I said simple. Creative, detailed, what's the other word? Consistent. There's an artistic consistency to it all. I mean, the man, Damien Leone, directs, writes, produces, and does all the CG, the non-CG. It's all in-camera, practical horror film effects done by him. And it's good. He is a disciple in spirit and style of the great Tom Savini. And you can see it in his work. He knows how to edit his work. This is why it's cool. He makes the monster movie stuff, films it, and then edits it himself. So the magic trick of making it look like you're cutting someone's arm off looks good. Now, the third, there's All Hallows Eve, the prequel. It came out first, low budget. It's a anthology film with 3 movies with Art the Clown as the tie-in. Do yourself a favor, watch it. It's great. Terrifier 1, Kickstarter movie, did well, love it. And then 2, the Opus. That's the one. That's like, wow. Fine art for horror. Terrifier 3 looks awesome. I cannot wait to see it. I will go opening weekend. I would love to go opening night. I hope I can. If I'm not busy, I will go opening night. I might go a few times that weekend. There are a few times in my life that I remember going to see horror films. I've talked about it on here. Freddy 2 was a big one. When Freddy 2 came out, I still remember my movie theater experience. I remember the buzz I had after, for weeks, of seeing Freddy 2. The other one was Jason versus Freddy. Or Freddy versus Jason. I always say Jason versus Freddy. But yeah, that one, opening night. I saw that opening night. With Tony Anderson, if you're watching. What other movie? I mean, there was a lot. We went to the movies as kids, we got to see all these. I saw all the Hellraisers, all of them. I saw Evil Dead 2 at the movie. I saw a lot of them opening night, and there's no one there. Really. Phantasm 2, Evil Dead 2, Chainsaw 2, they're all 2s. No one. Empty theaters. Green Inferno, opening night. I was the only person in the movie theater. I like that movie. So, I think Terrifier 3 will be that. It will be epic. It will be lines down the block. It's going to be people leaving the theater, screaming. I already heard that the opening scene is so graphic that none of the studios would give him any money for the movie right away. They were like, oh no. But he did it anyways, and somehow the movie theaters are going to release it. It'd probably get like an unrated rating. I didn't get to see Terrifier 2 at the movies. My son saw it and said people left. They were running out the door. When I saw Devil's Rejects, people were running out the door. I remember the scene too. They were like, fuck. They just kind of ran out. And I remember Opening weekend of The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, I went with my dad, and he left the theater. When the guy puked on the guy's hand, he was out. So, I have many memories of people running out of the theater. The one that was like the most, I think, is still The Exorcist. There's actually a documentary about it on how many people. I didn't see 3 from Hell. It looked bad. I could do a whole video on Rob Zombie's directing because I have problems. Big ones. Big ones. My favorite movie by Rob Zombie, believe it or not, I think is his Argento homage. I don't own it. I want to own. It's the only one I really like. It's Lords of Salem. I actually liked it. Again, it's one of those ones that when it was over, there was a vibe that I had in me that I kind of felt. It made me feel. Halloween I didn't like. Pointless. Too much. Too clever. Too much. Don't need all that. I'm not scary anymore. House of a Thousand Corpses is so flawed, and they said there was an unedited. The Munsters, I would never even. That I heard was unwatchable. The tonality is just off. Like, it's just the acting and the tonality, and it's just. There's some really good reviews of the Munsters online that are really funny. Yeah, I can't. I do. I like Lords of Salem. That's the one. It's subtle. He's not trying to be too clever, and it's subtle. And I think, listen, his woman, she may be a cool lady, but dude, some of those roles she plays are it's above the pay grade. For some reason, Lords of Salem, she does a fantastic job. Her acting, she's not trying. She's just being herself and just kind of being chill. And that's why it looks good. Some of these other ones, it's too put on. House of a Thousand Corpses, to me, if there was an uncut version with the violence put back in, it might be good. I think Devil's Rejects is pretty good. I don't hate that movie. Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks bad. I just honestly, these are all corporate crap, meaning, like, for instance, that Munsters movie, if you look at who made the movie, it was a subdivision of, I think, Universal that makes crappy movies. Like, that's what they do. But they're what's Greta and Hansel? What is that? Is that a new movie that I missed? I guess she's a scream queen, but I can't watch the movies she's in except for Lords of Salem. I just am not a fan. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. The acting's bad. It's not acting. It's missing beat work. It's why I don't like Tarantino movies. I did like The Devil's Rejects. There's parts of that I think are really well done. I have problems with it too, but I didn't hate it. I saw it at the movies. I left the movie going, wow, all right, that was cool. I don't know that Hansel and Gretel movie. I don't know it. There is a movie called Monster Hunter, I believe, online. That's an independent foreign film. That's a horror film, a fantasy movie. And it's good. I liked it. House of a Thousand Corpses he's trying to do too much. It's like a knockoff of too many movies. It's like, hold on here. Why is my computer? I don't know. Not my thing. I have here written something. I wanted to talk about something tonight. And this, to me, is worthy of a transition from horror films to something I discovered, a technology that exists that I never thought about could exist or even perceived it as a thing that might exist until I saw this. And then I thought about it, and my mind took it to new places of pure horror and shock. And it, to me, has philosophical ramifications that are absolutely crazy. Have you ever thought about a camera that has no lens? Meaning a device, like, I don't know, here, let's use a box of stink bombs. A device, no lens, but yet when you point it at something, you can take a picture. And the way that it takes the picture is that there's a GPS that knows where this device is located, and using known data, it assembles the image. So I heard that, went, oh, okay. Huh. Wow. Oh my God. This is beyond. So, okay. So, stop and think about this. So first I'm like, well, how does that work? All right, so the GPS knows it's here. So, for instance, let's say there was a camera right here where my hand is. Well, if it picked up all known data, meaning a satellite, my Wi-Fi from my phone, the camera image here, the security cameras, the whatever it is, it's able to hack the grid, get all known data, and formulate what's right in front of me right now. And then if it doesn't know, maybe it's possible to send a pulse via Wi-Fi signal, who knows, that vibrates the room enough to pick up back through the microphones of what's in the room. So now it really knows what's in the room. Okay. So when I started fantasizing about that as an actual thing, I started to like, whoa. Now, add a quantum computer to this, and you have godlike powers. You also have remote viewing, but the real version. Literal remote viewing. You know, that thing that governments pay psychics to do, and there's no evidence that it's real, but they do, where someone's in a room meditating, and they can see what's going on in an office in Moscow, right? Well, we'll be able to do that, as long as you have the coordinates. And you'll be able to look around. And if it doesn't know, a satellite will be able to shoot some sort of thing that collects data. So it doesn't even need a lens anymore. Think about the ramifications and what that means. Think about how technology now has the ability to do things that you would never be able to pull back again. This is what no one's talking about. Technology has given someone that has an advantage over something else the power to get to a level of unstoppability and a manner that there's no oversight. How could you? How do you compete with someone that has that machine? You don't. So it's, to me, you know, yes. Oh, yes. So it is, yes, Mr. Lord Lorcan, it is the end of any and all privacy. Yes, 100. It means God with a lowercase g is real. The way God behaves in the Old Testament of being omniscient and all-powerful will be possible with quantum computing. Oh, yes. And then some. I don't think people realize this. Well, even if you don't have anything electronic in your house, you might not be able to... That doesn't mean anything. Here, I got something for you. Yes. So I went to Carnegie Mellon. I'll just tell you a quick look. Okay, so read what Fallon said. Researchers at Carnegie Mellon University developed a method for detecting the three-dimensional shape and movements of human bodies in a room with using Wi-Fi routers. Yes. Okay, 100%. I went to Carnegie Mellon. I graduated. I went 1991. I graduated in 95. While I was there, they had drones flying around campus. They would leave buildings way before anybody knew what drones were. We also had a truck that would drive around campus with no driver. It had cameras on the roof, and it would drive around campus. This was 30 years ago. So think about what they have now. Well, okay, foil wallpaper. Yeah, I mean, maybe, but probably not. You know, they're going to be able to beam stuff and look, you know. I mean, isn't that what HARP is? HARP? People say they use it to control the weather, but HARP is a way of using a radio frequency to survey the land and see it. Using radio waves that can x-ray the land. Beat me by 2 years. They did. They had that in the 90s. 100%. I saw it. Many times saw it. It wasn't like I saw it once. I saw the truck every week. I saw it driving around campus. We also had Dante the robot at Carnegie Mellon 30 years ago that looks like a spider. And they designed that for going to Mars and on volcanoes. Carnegie Mellon is like robots and artificial intelligence. And they have all the government money there. When I went, here's something, Fallon. My freshman week, when you get there as a freshman, someone hung up signs all over the campus. It had like dead people. It was like a Xerox of some dead people. And it said, have your campus tour guide show you where the bombs were designed that killed these people. They were all over campus. It was funny. Like, there was stuff like that around back then. But, I mean, I wanted people to just hear about that technology and just take it and chew on it at the kitchen table. Because, I've noticed this, nobody's talking about AI, about regulating it, because everybody's in an arms race. Everybody wants the best one. Tesla wants the best one. Google wants the best one. Everybody, all the rich people and rich companies are trying to come up with AI that's going to be the top dog. Whenever that happens, that group will regulate, or at least try to regulate the rest. Whoever dominates it will rule the world. So nobody is regulating right now. Yeah, I mean, it's getting to be where you will have a very hard time hiding from anything. Even if you're in the woods. It's just what it is what it is. I wrote down on my philosophy page something that I really do think about every time I do any kind of performing. And I don't care if it's, you know, me doing a magic trick for somebody at a bar, not being paid, you know, like friends, or hey, do a magic trick, or I'm being paid to do a giant show, or I'm at the Slipper Room or a restaurant, wherever. It doesn't matter. I do this every show. I pretend I'm gonna die the next day. Like, this is it. Like, I'm gonna go home and die, and they're gonna be like, whoa, his last show was, he did a bunch of card tricks at the bar, right? And so, and as I'm doing the show, I'm thinking that. Like, especially when I do music. Anytime I play a music show, in my brain, because we just played last week, and then we played, I think we played the week before. We played a couple weeks in a row. Playing music for me, the way we play it has become, it's fun, but it's like, it's a lot of work. I mean, physically. So my band does, if we do a Ramones show and it's the long one, it's 2 sets, it's 44 songs, and it's all down picking the whole show, and I'm singing. So it's hard. It's like running a marathon. Like, when we start, it's like, here we go, and there's no stopping. And so I have to psych my brain up. About halfway through, when I start to get dopey and tired, I do the thing. I go, this is it, bro. You could go home and have a heart attack. This is the last time you get to play these songs forever. Give it your best. so that when you're done, you're like, yeah, that's it. That's what I did. I do that with every show, and I'm just throwing it out there. I wrote it down as a little, it's just, oh, what's this? It says, I just hope AI isn't programmed by Kamala Harris. Well, yes, that's right. Yes, that's that whole, like, her explaining AI. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Well, here, I have something worse than that. I hope the Nation of Islam doesn't program it. That's what I hope. Think about that. The fastest growing ideology, which is Islam, that's fair as a world religion, but to me, the problem with that one as a philosophy is that that philosophy says we will shut down the other philosophies. Pretty clearly. I mean, it came out of a movement of a political movement, the religion itself, you know. So, and it hasn't had a reformation. It's the newer one. The other ones have had their ebbs and flows and, you know, newer versions, whereas, oh yes, much worse. To me, it's the most intolerant of the ideologies, and I don't have to prove it. The name Islam means subservience. So, the question is subservience to what? So to me, that's not for me. You can stay over there with that one. So what if they get to program it? What if they're in charge of the AI version of moral? Because, dude, AI will have to have a moral code programmed. Listen, here's how a car is programmed differently than you. You're driving on a bridge. You see a crowd of people. Your brakes broke. You're going to crash into the crowd of people or drive off the bridge and kill yourself. We are not programmed to drive off the bridge. Some of you might. Most of us will try to screech the brakes and maybe try to crash into something, but you're probably going to hit people. The car, if it had AI programmed, is programmed to drive right off the bridge and save more lives. You're not important. So the car will have to make a decision, and the machine will decide what's better for society, not you. You are programmed by your own DNA and your animal cortex to evade danger. The computer will be I'm going to evade danger for everybody. And there's an example of how our biology is not hardwired the same as how the machines are going to be hardwired. They're going to be different. There are those of out there that think, good, they should hardwire robots to keep people in line. That's fair. You can say that, but you're not my friend. That's not good. I'll stick to the animal world, okay? I'm an animal. It's fine. I'll take it. I don't mind it. But it's interesting. Shouldn't AI be haram? Okay, interesting. You're raising a really good question. You would think that, right? But if AI has, like, okay, let's think about it. Let's get in their shoes. I'm pretty good at getting in other people's shoes. If I think my rules are better for society and will elevate society and how would I justify using, I would have to just say it's just spreading the word more. It's like being used as a tool to spread the message, I guess, or enforcing the message. You know? An enforcement of sorts. Interesting. Yeah, these are all questions that have to be eventually addressed. Well, the whole idea of a complex robot, you know, we, as kids growing up, when you think of robots, you think of metal. You don't think of flesh. But we could be actually complex robots. We could be a type of a robot that can grow from just cells and then evolve into other types of cells. Just like, you know. Yeah, and it's funny because humanity, what you're mentioning, creativity, manual labor, right? That, right? Like manual labor, people will be like, ooh, but I don't see it as an ooh. I see that as a, Yeah, that's what we do. We work hard and then we get a back rub and we go, wow, I worked hard. It like justifies the other. It gives you context. Um, um, hmm. Would AI think differently if it was trained in different languages? You're raising a very deep question. I'm telling you, folks, this show brings up some crazy stuff. Yes, different languages have different, the flavor behind different languages, there's a reason for it. It comes from something and it is very different. I don't know if you know this, but um, um, what do you call this? I always forget the actual pronunciation. Hold on, I'm going to get this right. Hold on. This is where the song, the... Hold on. That's what it is. Classical philology. Friedrich Nietzsche was a professional philologist. Most people don't know what that is anymore, but through the study of languages, you're getting into the brain of it all by the words they're using and the reason why they use that word to describe that thing. Nietzsche always uses the word noble. Like, people use the word noble meaning good. Like, well, that's very noble, but it means kingly. It's saying that he's like a king. He's like a divine, it comes from a king place. So he's found that through philology. Philology from different language point of view, yes, it really does change the values. It's amazing. Bicentennial Man, what is that? Is that a movie? I know that, but I don't remember what that is. The nervous system is electronic. It is. Yeah. These are all thoughts and ideas. I mean, I chew on these quite a lot. I have no answers. I have more questions. I think things are as they are. I think things are going in certain directions, and we think we can change them, but they're going to go where they're going to go. And things have momentums that sometimes you can't see. Sometimes they're hidden and they surprise you, but there's a momentum going on. And oh yes, it's the Robin Williams movie. Yeah, maybe I should see that. That seems like a theme that might be interesting. And so, whenever you get stressed out that things might not be going in a direction you want them to go in, because it's going to happen for some people and for some people not. And if it doesn't happen to you, it will happen at another point in time. But eventually we encounter things that go places or things surprise us. But I always try to really think of the Stoic phrase that's, I think, the thing that is, I would say, the best thing I pull out of Stoicism. And I would say it's the thing that Friedrich Nietzsche embraced from Stoicism, and that is amor fati, love your fate. Whatever's happening, ride it. If it's bad, ride it. If it's bad, you're gonna get wisdom. You right now get to cash in on wisdom. It's like this: if the NRA has a left-leaning president, they make a lot of money. People are mad; they'll give them money. When the NRA has a right-leaning government, they don't make as much money, but they get their policies pushed. See how it works? This is why when in the old days, with a two-party system, it doesn't matter who wins. They're both being paid by the same candidates, right? The big companies pay out both. The war machines, the AI companies, big tech, big pharma, the big boys, the real movers and shakers, the food business. In the old days, they were both kind of paid off, so it didn't matter who won. You could debate. There are some candidates now in the mix that are not part of that, and they're the disruptors, which in some ways might be good, because it's a stimulation of a system built on a rigging. I always say things are rigged. It's rigged. It's because of a two-party system. If you hire a magician to rig something, that's how you do it. You whittle it down to this thing, and it's just easy. For me, things go in directions we don't like, and they're going to twist and turn. That's fine. I ride this stuff. Oh, what I was going to say is the politicians, yeah, if they lose an election, they make money. They still make money. So it's okay to lose. I mean, I've known people that were on national campaigns, and they were told this. Like, if we lose, we make more money. So, that's a good question. Do we fight or watch things burn? Okay, here's an example of my answer to that. And I'm going to refer to the running of the bulls. I did it twice, and I remember some advice someone told me. But because to me it depends what's going on. I mean, depends. One person might think that's worthy to do for this, and somebody might be like, nah, that's just, not for that, right? So for me, running the bulls, I remember, so I was like, so when do you run? Like, what's the deal? Like, at what point do you run? And both times I did running the bulls, and I think I did an internet show where I kind of told the whole story, but I did it at the end so that you get to run into the bull arena. If you're too far at the beginning, you're never going to make it in the bull arena because they close the door eventually. But if you're near the end, you run in and they shut the door and you get to do this whole other thing with the bulls. And so this old guy said, okay, here's what happens. Because I was asking people once I got there, hey, tips. I don't want to die by getting killed by a bull. So he was like, first of all, you'll know when the bulls come up, because I was on the main street part. He's like, you'll know when they turn the corner because you'll see in the balconies, everybody kind of look. So far down, you'll see people in the balconies start to like bug out, right? So, okay, so here's what happens. You're waiting for the bulls. You hear a bang. They shoot a rocket when they open the corral. I think it's 5 minutes later, they're going to be turning the corner. So the thing goes off. It takes about 5 minutes for them to run up the first part. They turn the corner. He's like, you'll see them, look, and then you'll see people starting to run. He's like, don't run early. Do not run early. People start to run early. Don't do it. If you run in the bull ring, you get booed if you're too early. And B, it's just not how it works. And I saw him like, so when to run? And he goes, you'll know when. And I was like, okay. He's like, you'll know. It's just like, it's. So here's what I remember. And this is like day one, because I did it 2 days. The second day was way more intense. But day one, you're waiting, and I'm nervous. My heart's pounding. And I see people jumping and people praying. And I mean, it's intense. And then, I hear the bang. And I'm like, really nervous. They turn the corner. I see them. And I'm like, oh, and I see people running. I'm like, all right, that guy's running, and she's running, and they're running, and people are running. And, now there's like kind of a lot of people running. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't see the bulls. And I see people running. And then, by God, it's a wall of doom, a wave, an energy. You can feel the air. It's a tornado, a thunderstorm, a mosh pit. It's 4 steers and 6 bulls and a lot of humans. And they're running right at you with bloody murder in their eyes. Like, ah! Right? So you're like, no, time to run. And like, it's like, so as you're running, people are falling. And you're running on them. You have to run on them. I mean, where are you going to go? And when it's time to jump out of the way, because you're going to get knocked over by a bull, as you go to jump away, someone might be there. So get ready. You might have to it's rough. So as you're running, people are kind of knocking you out of the way. I would say that's when for me, I think I'll know when it's time to fight back. You're right. It sometimes feels like we are boiling frogs and the water's getting pretty hot, and you look around and you're like, are we boiling right now? You know, is this like in 1 second? Like, you know, like in a horror film, it would be like literally right now, my phone beeps and you hear it. This is the Overlord. It's over. That's it. And you're like, what do you mean that's it? Pew, computers go off. Whoop, they come back on, and there's, hi, this is how it's going to be from now on. This is illegal. This is illegal. This is illegal. The world, whatever forums decided, we're going to enforce these now. We think it's better for all of humanity for pollution reasons and population, whatever it is. That would be the horror film version of like, yikes, right? But that's not how it always goes. It goes slow so that the value of that being okay isn't even noticed. And people are like, yeah, of course that's how we do it. So, yeah. I don't know. So my answer is... So, well, no, I don't know. I mean, I think with some smart... I mean, honestly, if I had to pick a world power that, you know, everybody picks on the top dogs, obviously, that's just the way it is. We have a morality that looks down on the top dog. That's what Nietzsche was constantly pointing out. So therefore, of course, that's going to be... But honestly, I mean, you'd rather the others in charge, is my question. It's like, all right, we might be jerks, but you'd rather that version of jerkery. You're getting a jerk. That's it. I don't know why people don't see that. It's better to know the jerk. I mean, right? I make friends with everybody, the bad guys and the good guys. Why? Well, why wouldn't I? I want to make friends with everybody, even the people that might have different values. And so and I'm friends with them. I have a relationship of some sort, a respect of sorts. People think that when you respect somebody, it's like when, you know, you could say, I respect this guy, and they're like, well, he's bad. What do you mean you respect him? It doesn't mean you like him. It means you respect that the guy did, you know, lay his life on the line to get things done. You might disagree with what they were, but the guy's got cojones. So, and could take you out in 1 second. You know, like, yay, that guy can just walk right over me, and there's not one thing I can do. And so I have respect for that. It's like, well, they're willing to take risks. I might not be. That means they win in a lot of situations. Well, that's right. And I always remind people, the reason why I like American law, in theory, because it doesn't always work out, but is because our laws are based on our leaders being jerks, and that we expect it. Whereas all the other countries have laws that expect the leaders to be good guys. And whether you have the emperor system, which says your leaders are gods, or not, you're giving them the authority that you would give a good guy. We do that here, but we have some provisions that we put in there to make sure they don't go sour, because they will. And we know they will. And we're being honest. And that's because some of our early founders, who for some reason people like to crap all over now, they were enlightened to some other value systems that now we would say are bad. I think it's funny that a lot of Christian right don't realize that Thomas Jefferson would have gotten canceled for his religious views today. TJ. Yes, TJ. And so would Ben Franklin. So our laws are based on that. That's one of the things I like. And we invented punk rock and heavy metal and jazz and blues. I can keep going. Poor people music, poor people art became very popular all over the world. Yeah, DIY. DIY is America. That's American value. Punk rock, DIY, do it yourself. Don't ask for a handout. Try to make it. If you can't do it, make it. If you can't make it, do something else. So, George Carlin was a philosopher, not a comedian. He was brilliant. Yeah, he pointed out, and you know, I follow his philosophy a lot. We have front row tickets to the end of the world, folks. Might as well enjoy it to some degree. You could be miserable. You can be. But, I'd rather party. Or at least try to find some sort of something to laugh at during anything terrible, you know? I don't know. Think about how much chaos is going on right now, let alone in like Africa and stuff. There's crazy stuff going on there we never see on the news. You know, we only see certain things on our newses. And the world has crazy stuff going on all the time. It is the most peaceful time in modern history. I mean, the last 100 years, if you think about it. Like not 100 years. The last 20 years, as global conflicts go, compared to some of these other ones, it's been, you know, there's less starvations, death, and disease than there were 1,000 years ago. Way less. Even in the poorer countries, it got a little better. But there's still chaos. You know? Wow. Folks, I talked for an hour and 45 minutes. And we had a solid group in here. What are your thoughts? I'm just flailing I'm foaming at the mouth now. I think we need to have fun. I think we need to focus on fun. Whenever there's too much politics going on, dude, go look at something else. It's hard not to look at it. I know. It's like a drug of sorts. It feeds a flavor, a flair. You want to win. You want one of the persons that you admire to get one edge over. It gives you a dopamine blast. And when something bad happens, it gives you a reason. I'm telling you, I get it. Politics are the greatest American sporting event. Unfortunately, it got to be like dangerous and weird. Like, you know, you can't mention it anymore in certain scenes. People get really like, argh. And so I focus on the fun. I do. The only thing that I get mad about is free speech stuff. And so online, I mean, you know, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Memento mori, says Ruby. Yes, that's the second greatest Stoic word. You know, we are all going to croak. And it could be tomorrow. It could be in a year. It could be in 2 years. But with this very short, limited time on Earth, I would like to enjoy the sunsets, food, green things, a soda here and there. I also would like to cause trouble with stink bombs. And so, for me, memento mori is something I actually use that as part of my daily. I'm surrounded by skulls. I think about it a lot. I talk about it so much that I forget that, you know, I am working Friday, yes. I forget that people don't like to talk about death. It really does bug them out to the point where they change the subject. I mean, really. And I do, and I talk about it with my kids and my friends. It's something we talk about. Liquid ass spray. LAS. I bring stink bombs wherever I go just in case I need to shut it down. It's like you feel powerful. It's almost better than having a gun because you're just like, damn, because it's safe. No one gets hurt. It's like even more powerful. You're like, damn, I can mess this whole room up and cause absolute chaos, and it's totally safe. It's like nothing gets broken other than the stink bomb, and you can clear a room, especially if you let 3 of them out. All right, folks. I'm going to go eat something. I'm hungry, and I'm going to verisimilitude. Don't forget. And I'm going to 6 Feet Under. Excellent show. I'm going to eat, and I'm going to smoke, and I'm going to think about life. and how I'm going to have fun. Yes, well, if you're going to do politics, you got to include humor. I will say, as a kid, I mastered debating religion to the point where I think I could do it on a professional level. Politics, I think I can debate it on certain levels, certain nuanced elements of it. But I personally, in politics, I like to focus on only two things. And one is free speech, because it's what I do. And the other one is body autonomy via self-protection. So those are the two things I don't mind talking about openly, because there's some objectiveness to them, especially free speech. There's a little subjective part in there, but mostly I have some objective thoughts on discourse, public discourse. And, oh yeah, I'm not going to forget the video. And on free speech, I study rhetoric. I understand its power. I've even read the book Gorgias by Plato, it's about somebody debating Socrates on whether rhetoric's the most powerful thing in the world. It's pretty neat. So, yeah, I'm a free speech guy. And we're the only country that has it written in stone. Free speech. It's the First Amendment. The other countries don't have it. So, they think they have it. I master debated to Christianity. Yes, I did. I got so good at it that it got boring. It's like I can whip out a few things that you can't spin out. There's no spinning them. Wow. I am going to take us out tonight with a video by Hell Butcher. The parts that I like, the intro's kind of long. It's got this long metal intro. Listen to after the intro, because that's where it lights up. It turns into a speed metal song, and I love it. So, yeah. Listen, I think I'm going to do next week. I have a rehearsal next week. So if I'm going to be here live next week, it's going to be right after rehearsal. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Listen, the show's free. If you tip, you tip. Somebody tipped earlier. Ruby, thank you very much. If not, just tell your friends. Share me, like me, subscribe, hit the like button. I mean, these are hard to do, and I love doing them. But, you know, helping me grow the channel does help. I do perform for a living. So, thank you. Visit my Wacky Mart, and keep in touch. Follow my Instagram. I post lots of weird essays. And I'm going to take us out with a video for, black mass robes. That's Satan me. SATANME.com, I believe. I think they have robes. I'm almost positive. Oh, you know who has them? Anderson. What's his name? Not Ryan Anderson. Storm Anderson. They have them. They make them custom. They make Reverend Storm Anderson. What's the name of their shop? By God. I'll post it next week. Party on. Hell Butcher.